Hey YouTube, what's going on, guys? So it's been a while since I've been back on YouTube, but I've been taking a little bit of a break just for myself. Life's been pretty crazy with moving into a new place, with work, and also with family stuff and travel. But now that I'm back to where I need to be, I have my studio and my desk all set up now, and I want to get back to making content for you guys. Of course, going back into kind of the career tech space and just giving you guys my perspective on things. And so today we've got a couple different interesting topics that I want to cover, and so we'll go through them and hopefully we'll be able to continue this on a more consistent basis. I'm also going to try to do a lot more recording from my desk rather than my car, because I think with the car it's a little bit difficult, and also just the audio and video quality from the GoPro isn't what I think a lot of people expect. And so I'm going to try switching it up, but bear with me as we go through this process, and I'll probably be making changes along the way, and it'll be a learning experience. But hopefully you guys will enjoy the show, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first topic that I wanted to kind of talk about, this one kind of caught my attention, is how much money should you have saved by the age of 35? And so this guy from Meta, he has asked this question, and he says that I am 35 years old, I am married, no kids, I live in VHCOL, which is very high cost of living, so I'm assuming this is either going to be the Bay Area or New York City or somewhere like that, and plan on having kids soon, probably moving to the burbs, but also high cost of living. Curious to how I am doing compared to the average here. I have about 600K across retirement and non-retirement accounts. Poll attached, TC 440K. And in this poll, looks like he gives a couple different ranges between 250K or less than 250K all the way to more than 2 million. So let's just go ahead and see what the average is. And just for the sake of the poll, I'm going to say anywhere from 500 to 750K, just to stay somewhere in the middle. I'm going to vote, and it looks like blinders are pretty spread in their opinion. It looks like 21% of voters have said 1 to 2 million, 21% said more than 2 million, and then it goes down the list. But yeah, not really a strong opinion either way, which of course tells me that everyone's got a different take on this. Yeah, my take on this is really, I mean, does it matter what the average is? And here's the thing, when you're asking the internet, whether it's Blind or Reddit, people are always going to be biased. They're always going to, some portion of the population is always going to be trolling, and they're going to probably put 10 million, 100 million. Some of them might even put 0. And so you just have to take it with a grain of salt. The other thing that I'm going to mention is that you should always just be comparing yourself to yourself. Anytime you compare yourself to others, especially those who are doing better than you, you're always going to end up disappointed. I remember someone once told me that comparison is the thief of joy. And I think this is very true. And when you continually try to compare yourself to someone else who's doing better than you, and you're not using that as sort of inner motivation, and that creates more jealousy and more envy, I think that's where you can run into a lot of trouble. One additional data point that I will look at is that if we do want to see what is the average savings by age, Google will obviously give us some of that information. And looking at this, according to the Federal Reserve 2022 Survey of Consumer Finances, the median retirement savings for U.S. families by age group are under 35, 18K, 35 to 44, 45K, all the way up to 75 or older, 130,000. And so if you're comparing yourself to the US average based on this survey, then you're going to be doing a lot better, especially with 600K. And that's why you always want to be careful about these kind of comparisons and trying to figure out, how you're doing. But yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. Living in a high cost of living area, being in tech, working for Meta, you're probably going to be around other people who are in a similar ballpark or doing better than you. And so I can understand why you're struggling with this. But my advice to you would honestly just be, focus on yourself. Focus on where you've gotten so far with your spouse and where you need to go to ultimately achieve your dream goal. And is your dream goal to retire by age 50? Is it to, live in a lower cost of living and not have to work for the next, for the rest of your life? I mean, depending on what your goals are, you probably need to set a target for yourself. And that's really where I would work backwards from, rather than trying to see what others are doing and how others are doing and then comparing yourself there. I'm just going to say, having 600K saved up at the age of 35, it's not too bad. And, you haven't mentioned whether this is combined with your spouse or if it's just yourself. But the fact that you're making $440,000 a year, that's awesome. It seems like, even if you can save 20, 30% of that net every year, you're going to hit $1 million in a couple of years. And if you continue to invest, the smart way, index funds, tech stocks, Meta stock has been doing very well, obviously. So I really don't think you need to worry too much, and just focus on yourself and what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And that's all I got to say on this one.